What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about the secret ingredient for marketing in digital agencies that I think a lot of people are missing, including myself. Now, as I pondered this idea, I was talking to a colleague of mine. We're talking about the difficulties of marketing, especially as a small agency. And when I say small agency, I mean like under 100 people. There are agencies that are out there that are beyond massive, tens of thousands of employees. But for the most of us out there anyway, the ones that are really striving to grow and find success in this space, a lot of us are under 50, a lot of us are under 20. And marketing is so essential to, of course, driving new business, getting more leads in. Problem is, there's not enough time, there's not enough money. And a lot of people find themselves in this conundrum of who's going to do marketing, and when I hire somebody to do marketing, can they get me the results I need like immediately? But before we can get there, let's just talk about the marketing industry in general. Let's just talk about building an audience in general and SEO and AdWords and all of this fun stuff. There's a ton of tools out there, and it's so awesome that you can just go find stuff for free and for very short money, and you can build this automated social media platform, and you can do all of this content promotion and content marketing, and by the way, you can drill down to the exact age and sex and location of somebody that you can advertise your stuff to. But all of this stuff costs money. And as you start to compile it all, not only is it expensive once you start putting all of the pieces together, but it becomes something of who's going to manage all of this stuff? Do I have the time and the capacity to do all of this stuff? And oh, by the way, is the content that I'm putting out and the marketing efforts that we're pushing out to our potential audience, is it good? Are people watching it? Are they listening? Are they reading? Are they sharing? And that's the tough part. So when people are looking to hire for marketing positions, a lot of it is just vanity metrics. They are unsure of what to do in marketing themselves because, well, that's why they're hiring somebody. Or if they've brought their expertise or their time, their calendar, to a point where they can't do this marketing anymore. They have to hire somebody for the better of the business. But the idea becomes, well, just make some blog posts. Just do some social media stuff. And then the person coming in is looking at it like, well, what's the target? What am I supposed to do? And it's like, well, just go out there and create content. Content marketing is what everyone's doing. It's so hard to rank in SEO these days, or at least it's a lot more complicated than it used to be. And ad spend is ad spend. Sure, we can get a lot of customers if we spend money on ads, but we're spending money on ads and maybe we don't have that budget to promote that stuff right now. So the marketer is left saying, well, okay, I guess I'll just put out this, generic swath of content and just do this thing to make me feel like I'm getting work done. And yeah, it gets a couple retweets here and there, but it's not driving the bottom line. And then the business owner says, well, what is this new marketer doing that we just hired, right? We're either on some kind of contract, hourly contract or flat fee contract, or they're a full-time employee, and now you're looking at the money going out the window going, am I really getting the return on investment on this? But it's important to know that marketing takes time. All of these complications, you can go and spend money on ads and drive traffic, but again, we're spending money. You do SEO, but it's a lot more complex. You need somebody very smart, which again is gonna start costing a little bit more money. Content marketing looks like the easy way out because, hey, we don't have to spend any money, we just have to create content, which is sort of kind of true. But the problem is you're brand building at that point. You're storytelling, you're trying to reach people organically, and it's not going to be immediate in every situation, and that's gonna be the long term, the long tail effect. Building a brand, building an awareness, building an audience, and then converting those folks through organic means, it's gonna take some time. And specifically in the digital agency space, as a former agency owner and day-to-day operator myself, I know that in the agency world, you're only as good as your last customer, as your current pipeline, and then cash flow comes in. And when you hire somebody full-time to do marketing that isn't immediately selling a project or writing lines of code or developing new PSDs and layouts in Photoshop, you start to look at them and say, are you really making a difference in this business? And that's nothing against the marketers. I think the true leaders understand that, hey, it's gonna take some time to get a real marketing message out there, especially in this day and age, and especially if you're gonna go at it through content marketing and storytelling. The idea is maybe the secret ingredient is right in front of us. So here's what's often overlooked, and again, myself included, totally forget this all the time, and it's not something that is just a one-time, one-trick pony. It's something that you have to keep developing and massaging as your marketing and as your business is growing, but as your marketing message and platform is rolling. The secret ingredient are the customers that you already have. So what do I mean by this? I mean, these are people that have already said yes, you've already done business with, you've developed projects, designed websites, built, custom applications or whatever. There's a case study there, there's a story there, there's a lesson there. More importantly, these are people that have already said yes to your salespeople. Maybe you're the only salesperson in your organization. They already know what it's like to do business with you. And if you can develop content marketing material, stories, lessons around that, you're effectively helping the sales process by creating this content and really marrying the whole marketing and sales pieces of your organization together. So let's just take a look at an example. I mean, just in the WordPress space alone, when somebody says, I'm going to develop a new marketing message, a new content marketing plan, a lot of them will look at, the very high level 50,000 foot view concepts of WordPress, right? So they start looking at, we can write content about WordPress. We can write content about the top 10 plugins for e-commerce. We can do a review on the best WordPress hosting company. By the way, that's pagely.com. You can find me at pagely.com. And then they go through this whole just like filling out the calendar of just your generic content. And while I think that's not a bad thing, but it certainly is table stakes. So it'll find ways to reach, the general WordPress audience, but it might not be the exact customer. And it certainly really doesn't help the salesperson or the founder of the business or the agency who's out there actually meeting and greeting clients. So let me break that down a little bit further. What do I mean by that? Well, if you got a customer who says, hey, I want to build a website and your starting budget is $10,000, and they are comparing you to another agency or another consultant or whatever, and they say, what do you have that really pushes the needle for you? Like, can you really sell us on your agency? And you can talk about your best practices and who you are and what you do and how you help customers. But the real social proof are the stories and the lessons that are with your existing customers. And I know this might be obvious to a lot of people. It's obvious to me, but it's not something I leverage enough. So it's great to say, yeah, no kidding, Matt, you can always leverage your customers, but have you really built a content packet or package around your existing portfolio pieces and highlighted them in different ways to help aid your salespeople? So what we want to do is develop a bedrock of content from your top 10 or 20 customers. And this is the challenge. And this is why, perhaps myself included, I have not really done this effectively until I have really started to really think about this or rethink this. Because it's not going to be easy. You have to find the customers that are willing to dedicate that time to you. And we're not just talking a snippet. We're not just talking a Yelp review of information here. We're talking about sitting down with a customer and really going from start to finish. How did you find our agency or our product? Why did you do business with us? Who did you look at and stack us up against? And develop that entire story from start to finish, from getting the product that you're delivering to them to supporting them for a year. Maybe it's an hour long, maybe it's an hour and a half long. Can you video tape it? Can you audio record it? Hopefully one of those two. I would say that if you're not able to do either of those, then you have to find another customer. But I'm talking about really rolling up the sleeves and really getting your customers to invest some time into this. And that's the gap right there that's going to make the difference between you and a competitor of yours and their cheesy little testimonial, again, guilty, and your amazing, 1 hour conversation. Now, you might not publish an hour long conversation with your client, but you might use snippets of it to create something greater. Again, finding different silos of content to build. We're using this customer information as a bedrock, but then you're building the podcast, the videos, the blog posts, the newsletters, the white papers, everything because of the information that they've given you. Now, here's what I love about this approach. What a marketer is doing, not only creating the storyline and creating the content that's all sort of, potential customer-facing information that's going to hopefully generate leads to your website and to your business, but this is content that's actually going to feed back into your business in a couple different ways. Number one, they're having these stories, they're having these conversations with customers, they're discovering things. They're doing a lot of research and development on why the customer bought from you, what they liked about your service, what they didn't like about your service perhaps. And then you can relay that back to your product people, your founders, your development team, your design team, whatever it is, and use that to better the business, right? Create new products and services, improve other products and services. The second thing that your marketer is doing is reminding your old customers, especially your top dog customers, hey, we're still here. We're doing some fun things. Maybe that customer has got another project in the pipeline. Maybe they know somebody. You have to remember that referral business is huge that doesn't necessarily mean our customers are always thinking, boy, how do I refer this lovely agency that we work with? They forget. We fall out and we do not become top of mind unless we're doing monthly stuff with them. But you get the idea. Is your marketer is now discussing things with people. They're seeing that you're active. You're propping them up a little bit because you're going to be doing some marketing around their brand, so they're a little bit excited. Maybe they'll share it on their social media stuff. And it really helps keep you top of mind. So you're ultimately killing 3 birds. Is that a saying? You're killing 3 birds with 1 stone. Now, I know a lot of marketers out there are going to say something like, Jesus, Matt, like I have to spend time creating content and getting social and interacting with customers. Now you're asking me to be like this person who's like doing sort of sales stuff and research and development and product stuff. I think the unfortunate thing is a lot of sales and marketing and engineering and co-founders and founders of a business, I think a lot of these lines are blurred these days. I don't think that you can just put yourself in a corner and say, as a marketing person, I can't think about sales. I can just drum up content and see the numbers go up in analytics, but not think about the content and the path that your visitor's coming in and saying, is this really going to affect sales? Same thing from, let's say, an engineering point. If you're doing something that's really cool and you're optimizing something totally awesome on a customer's website, don't just forget it, sweep it under the rug and say, oh, that this is cool in my world. Guess what? That's going to be cool in the marketing world. So when the marketer gets a hold of that, they can promote that. And it's also important for the salesperson to know, hey, we know how to optimize this stuff. Here's a case study. So I think everybody at every corner of a business, I guess there might be a limit to what size that business is, but I'd say anybody under 100 people in a business, I'd say even under 500 people in a business, can look at different departments and say, how can I help? How can I address these different areas for the better of the business? So look, if you're a small agency, a small consulting business out there, and you're hiring a marketing person, maybe instead of just saying, go build me a content calendar and just stuff it full of content because that's the buzzword of the year or years, and it's affordable, think about what you have in your customer portfolio base. What can you highlight? And start with that, where you can build that bedrock of customer content and data, and then use it in the different silos of your business. Hopefully you can do some research and development that way. Hopefully you can close some sales that way. I don't know. I mean, I'm guilty. I've forgotten about this stuff myself because you're just overwhelmed running a business. And then you forget, oh my God, I have all these customers that already said yes to me. Let me see if I can pull some great content away from that. It's MattReport.com, MattReport.com/subscribe to join the mailing list. If you like content like this, go ahead and thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. That's what I talk about. I talk about business, I talk about entrepreneurial stuff. Sometimes I do a bag review. I don't know where my backpack is right now. I did one in the last couple of videos. It was okay. Check me out. Subscribe to the channel. I'd love to see you. See you in the next video.